For more, let's bring in Fast Money friend Gene Munster. He's the managing partner at Deepwater Asset Management. Gene, great to have you with us. So given what you've seen today with the iPhone 15, given what you've seen in terms of features and pricing, is the stock fairly priced, overpriced? What's your assessment?
I'm sorry to report, Dan, I think the stock goes higher. And the biggest reason is that what Apple showed today was the substance behind the story turning to return to growth. And I think Steve's setup segment appropriately mentioned that we're going to have 4 quarters of declining revenue. That's the pressure point. Can Apple return to growth? The growth relative to the multiple, it is a similar topic to, is Tesla a car company or is it a tech company? In this case, is Apple a consumer device company or is it a tech company? I think it is both, but the consumer device attributes, we saw them on stage today, and I think they garner a higher multiple, more like a Coke, a Procter & Gamble. We've talked a lot about that. So, Melissa, I think the most important piece today was there was enough substance in this phone to drive this large 400 million upgrades, for a pool of 400 million upgrades. And I think we're going to see Apple return to growth, and I expect the stock to move higher as that plays out.
So, Gene, it's Dan, and again, I appreciate all that. You know, the stock from its lows in January gained $1 trillion in market cap, while it was basically quarter over quarter, on not growing, right? So we can say that whatever the rosy outlook is about the return to growth, it's been discounted in the stock price for the better part of this year. Does that make some sense? And so let's just say that China does slow down, and China has been really good for them over the last couple of years. Won't that be something that should, maybe the stock should be put in the penalty box for a little bit? And when I'm talking about penalty box, I'm talking another 10% down to 160 and take a few turns off this thing. And you know what I mean? And it seems a lot more reasonable given the unknowns that we have about the story and the growth prospects going forward, especially when you consider how incremental really everything. And I know you're geeked up about spatial computing and all that sort of thing, but that we can all agree that that's a back half 2024, 2025 thing.
So this could have a 10% pullback, and I think that can be consistent with the stock going higher into next year. This stock is proven to have those kind of pullbacks, and I think it's appropriate, the conversation, to talk about China. I think the China conversation also needs to include the India conversation. There are equal number of people. The GDP per capita in India is a lot less than China, 5.5 times less, and so that needs to be factored in. But that's something that is going to become a bigger part. It will be an offset to China. I think Apple is getting close to the top of China as a percentage of their revenue. It's 20%, maybe it gets to 22%, but we're going to need to start to see India come on. And at the end of the day, what all this comes down to, we talk about the geopolitical, can Apple make products that get people excited? And I would just want to mention one feature here that was not anticipated. Our Andrew Murphy from Deepwater did expect this to come out, but they added spatial camera to the Pro model for photos and video. Spatial video is a killer app when it comes to Vision Pro, and it is the biggest upgrade to a camera. And Guy, I hear you when you say that it's sad that people get so excited about cameras. They are. This is a big deal. It's going to change how people recall memories. Sounds crazy. Once you experience it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And that is ultimately what matters more to me on this Apple investment case, is can they continue to innovate? And they're doing that.
The crazy thing, Gene, is that Guy was making all these quizzical faces silently when you said, "I hear you, Guy." So it was almost like you had your little spy cam here in the studio. But the one last question I wanted to ask you, Gene, is what data point about the consumer will get you to rethink the assumptions you have about people buying the phone? I mean, what will it take for you to say, you know what, maybe consumers are paying too much for oil because it's up 40% since May. Maybe consumers are pulling back on, given what we're hearing from Restoration Hardware and some other Chewy and some other retailers. Maybe they're spending $1,000 on weight loss drugs every month and not going to buy the iPhone. I mean, what data point makes you pause?
Well, there could be a pause in sales. And I think all these data points you talked about can cause iPhone to miss in a quarter. I think I think we're going to see a return to growth. There can be a miss in the next year for all the things you talk about. But iPhone's been gaining share in some of the toughest markets. In South Korea, the home of Samsung, they've gained material market share in the last 3 years. And I think, and Dan talked about the market share gains in China. That to me is what's most important, is are they gaining share? And the reason why, when you buy one Apple device, you fall in love, you get another Apple device. And I think that, I don't want to be dismissive of these negative data points. It can cause that 10% step down that Dan was talking about in the stock. But ultimately, what's most important is their devices are becoming more indispensable, like consumer products for people. And I think that's evidence in market share.